Hello, Paul Marsden here again with you. Nice to be talking to you again. And I'll be covering some stuff today with you on some keys for good health and well-being. And we look at things like relaxation and sleep and various things like that. I've talked to you before here in Castlebar a number of times. I hope people enjoyed what I did, so I hope they enjoy what I'm going to cover here today with you. So first we look at some of the key fundamental points of health and well-being. And at a time like this, when we have this corona thing happening all around us, we need these things like we never needed them before. And we need to do these things every single day to ourselves and to remember these things and remind ourselves to take certain steps during the day. And I'll cover those things with you over the course of our session here this afternoon. And first of all, one of the first things to look at in the four pillars, and the four pillars are food, movement, relaxation and sleep. They're the four kind of pillars or the four keys to good health and well-being. And the first pillar, food is very, very important. And as we all know, and when you get stressed and worried and pressured, we can often forget about food and just think, oh, I can't eat, I have no time to eat. And you don't feel like eating. You have butterflies going on there in your stomach and you can't think of food. And food's the last thing on your mind. If you do eat, it doesn't feel very good and so on. But food is really important at that time, that you have regular balanced things at that time. So watch that one. That'll happen when you get stressed. That often food is the last thing you think about. But please remember that food is really important. And the experts on this will say to have food that is full of all sorts of freshness and variety, and some people say the more colour in your food the better. So have multicoloured type foods. So you do a salad during the day, and when I was a kid, salad was just simply a bit of an egg, one piece of lettuce, a bit of ham, and that was it. We had a dollop of salad cream. They've moved on a lot now since then, and they're very, very different things right now. And putting more colour in there is a great thing to do. So you find olives in salad, and fish, and peppers, all these lovely red and green peppers. And the more colour you have in your food, the more vital things you're getting in that food as well. Also, a really good thing for your health, for your mental health as well, and for the health of your nerves and your body, great thing to do is to watch that food you get is good, proper, whole food. And that is food that's not processed much in any way. A food that's processed has something done to it. And most foods we get in shops and so on has something done to it. But the more it has done to it, the more processed it is, and the less healthy it is for us to eat. So the less processed your food is, the more whole it is, less processed it is, the better. That's what the experts will say to you. So good regular eating and watching what you're eating and when you're eating, watching eating too late at night and this kind of thing, that's not very good either for sleep, as we'll see later on. So the food is a very important bit of it. Your movement. Now movement is really important. And that we're often stuck at a desk during the day. So you're at a desk looking at something, you're typing away. So your body is all in this kind of a shape. We're not meant to be that way. We're meant to be actually doing more physical things and walking and jumping and running and doing all sorts of stuff. That's what we're built for. That's why our bodies are built like that. When you spend the whole day sitting like this, you can develop all sorts of issues with your shoulders, your neck, your back, headaches, all sorts of stuff from that posture. So it's so important to get your movement right. And if you are at a desk during the day like that, then every, say, 20 minutes, half an hour, then stretch. Then get up if you can, stretch, shoulders back, and stand up and look as far away as you can see. That's a window, and look as far away as you can see. With your eyes as well. It's very good for your eyes. Stretch the eyes as far as they can see, but stretch those muscles and even walk around the place for a few seconds. That's a really, really, really good de-stressor. Just that movement in your body, fantastic stressor, de-stressor. If you sit there and don't move, you can get more and more and more stressed. And as we know, life and work and demands on people all the time can just increase and increase and increase all the time. If we don't move and don't change things in our environment, we can get much more stressed like that. Also, the experts will say when you walk, walking is a great thing to do. Great exercise to do is walking. It doesn't cost anything. You can go off out there once it's not horrible, dank out weather, as can be sometimes. But you can get there for a walk sometimes, a good fast walk. Really important to walk properly, because some people don't use their muscles properly. We sit very often during the day in what's called a flexed position. So we're sitting like this, our heads bent there, our hips are bent, our shoulders, our knees are bent, everything's bent over. And then when we stand up and stretch, we often don't stretch fully enough. So some people still walk in the sitting position. You know what I mean? So they're walking at their creeping kind of. The legs aren't fully extended. So when you walk, you fully extend that leg and really stretch the leg as far as it'll go. You feel the knee really stretching there. That's really good muscle for muscle development. Really, really good thing to do. And when you step, take those big, big, long steps and stretch with shoulders back and head up, and really press those shoulders back when you walk, when you stand up and you move around. And that kind of good, healthy movement is a better way to do it than just the kind of walking like that with your head down all the time. That's not very, very good. I mentioned before here a number of times that some people walk like that, and when they walk like that, they access lowered emotional states. So you can think in a very low state like that. You can start to imagine things and worry about stuff because of the posture you take up. And when you stretch that, shoulders back, head up, you feel different straight away. You feel much more strong, much more solid, able to handle new things coming at you. So just even doing that now as I'm talking to you is a great thing to do. Stretch those muscles back and head up. You feel a difference straight away there. And get that to be your habit. If you watch Downton Abbey, you'll see people in Downton Abbey, that's the way they operate in Downton Abbey, the way they did back then, that era. And you wonder why the chairs in that programme have any backs in them. Because they never seem to use the backs in the chairs. They sit like this all the time. So don't use the backs in the chairs at all. They never sit back in the chair like that. You never see that happening at all. They apply that up straight. That's a really good possible posture to take up. That's a really good straight way to do it. Very, very good thing to do. So movement and regular exercise like that. So whatever you like to do, the best exercise to do apparently is the one you enjoy most. Whatever it is. Walking or going for a walk with a dog or going to the gym. Well, gyms aren't on the go these days, really. Going to the park, going here and there, wherever you go out and see people or do runs or whatever you do. Whatever you do that you really enjoy is the best one for you. Because doing exercise you don't enjoy, doing anything you don't enjoy isn't a great part of your life. So exercise you don't enjoy won't really help you. So get something you really do love doing and you'll do more and more and more of it. So food important, movement important. The next bit is relaxation. And that's the thing I harp on a lot about. We need to be able to relax, and often people don't do that during the day. So even just now, relaxing as you follow along from this, I'll show you one or two very important things you can do to calm down, to relax right now in the moment. One thing to do is be aware of your breathing as you're even working and doing stuff. To be aware of how you're breathing. When we get stressed, we breathe very, very high up in short ways. That makes you feel even more stressed. Every so often, take a nice deeper kind of breath. And that just calms things down straight away for you. And that's the thing we've known for centuries, and we still don't do it all the time. Just doing that simple little breath in and breathe out. Now, one more elaborate version of that is what's called a 5-finger breathing technique. I'll take you through that now. If you follow along with me, you'll find it has a really good calming, relaxing thing on you straight away. You'll want a hand with 5 fingers and a finger to borrow. And you're going to be using your fingers up and down like this to breathe in and breathe out. Now as you draw the finger up, you breathe in and hold and then breathe out. So I'll go through the 5 with you and follow along with me, and you'll find it does calm things down greatly for you when you've finished afterwards. So first of all, breathe in, and hold for a second, and then just breathe out. And breathe in again, and hold for a second, and breathe out. And breathe in again, and hold for a second, and breathe out. And breathe in again, and hold for a second, and breathe out. And breathe in again, hold for a second, and breathe out. Now if you've done that, you'll find straight away you feel an awful lot calmer and much more kind of in the space than you were before. In fact, your head is calmed down, breathing is slowed down, obviously heartbeat slowed down a bit. And that's a really good relaxing thing to do. And doing that simple little thing every so often during the day is a really good thing to really keep things down there, keeping you really, really, really calm and relaxed during the course of a day. Because you have demands. We have demands coming at us all the time. From our friends, from family, from our children, from our bosses, from the bank. All these demands all the time. And they will never stop. And you have to have inside here your bag of tricks, your bag of resources to meet those demands coming in. And once you have a sense that your bag of tricks inside there is strong enough, has enough stuff in there to meet these demands coming in, that you can fend off these and deal with these coming in, then you won't feel this thing we call stress. But the second you feel my bag of tricks, my bag of resources to deal with this stuff is down here somewhere and demands are up here coming in, then you will feel this thing, this space in here will be filled with this thing called stress. And one thing to do is to calm things down by breathing like that. Simple little thing. Even now, just breathe in and breathe out. That calms things down straight away. That's just to remind you every so often just to do that simple little thing, and that calms things down. That's a resilience skill straight away that you can use to cope with demands coming in all the time. Because they will never stop. They never ever stop, these things. They're constantly at you all the time. And you might think when I do this, when I pass an exam, when I build the extension, when I've had my baby, I'll be able to do something else I can calm down. Well, you won't. The next thing's going to come at you, and this constant thing comes at you all the time. We know that at this stage. Having the resource to cope with that then is important, and that's one key one. So I mentioned food. The food you eat as well has been shown also, just to go back to food again, to have a huge impact on how stressed we get as well. Eating proper good food is really important, and what we hear a lot today about is feeding our biome, feeding what this little flora that grows inside of us, feeding that, because from that very important chemicals are made, and if we don't have a good biome. So again, eating stuff that does have a good oily fish, eating some things like a kombucha type thing is a nice drink to have, or kefir, those yogurt things, they feed that, and again that's a direct impact on the way you handle stress. So feeding your body properly will help that straight away. It's all very connected, all this stuff as well. And the movement helps greatly as well. I mentioned that the 5 finger, there's movement involved in that, and that again calms things down straight for you. A good walk calms things down as well, I mentioned before, so all these movement things help. And the fourth one, the fourth big pillar, is the whole thing of sleep. Now sleep is a very, very important thing. I'll do another thing on sleep, more detailed one on sleep, but again sleep, really important to get sleep. Now sleep's been linked into a whole load of different things. We've always known sleep's important, but people didn't know why it was so important. And we're seeing now on the research coming in lots of stuff about why it's so important, and it was linked into all sorts of stuff, like again the way we process food. And again, it's all linked up. The way we process food, where our insulin gets used, where our blood sugar is used, all this stuff happens because of how well we sleep. If we don't sleep well, that affects that directly, straight away. It also impacts on how we handle stress coming in. If you haven't slept properly, just think about it. You had a bad night's sleep, or no sleep, you're trying to go to work, cope with stress coming in, or demands from family or friends, you really can't. At the end of your tether kind of stuff in that state. If you've slept properly and slept really well, you feel much better, you can handle that in a much, much better way than if you had no stress, no sleep. So having that good night's sleep, really important. And there are things we can do to enhance our good night's sleep. We do a lot of stuff that we don't even know we're doing that stops us from sleeping properly. We can often have a sleep space that, for example, is far too cluttered with stuff. That's one thing. I always say to people, clear out the clutter around you, and clear the clutter out of your sleep space particularly. That's an important one. If you have, say, a room you're spending time in, and you do a job to it, you might paint a wall, or put up a painting, or change something, or hoover it even, or so it looks really, really good, you kind of think, right, now I can relax here now. It feels different, and you feel different in that space. And the very, very same thing happens to your sleep space. If it's all full of stuff, clothes and suitcases and books and tons of stuff all piled up here and there, that does not help you to go calm, to relax down, and you can't sleep properly in that. So there's very space around you. So step number 1, get your sleep space. You possibly can clear out that clutter and make it as clear as you possibly can. Even the actual act of doing that will help you feel, right, now I can sleep better here. I've changed something, I've cleaned something, I've changed something, I've put something away, I cleared away that clutter, and that you feel different from that, and that helps you sleep straight away. Also watching things like your phone, if you've got phones, mobile phones, and laptops, tablets, all this kind of thing, keeping those things away is important because they affect how quickly we fall asleep. It's a really important one as well. It affects how quickly the brain cops on it's time to go to sleep. We can delay that happening to us, and so delay the onset of sleep, and therefore end up sleeping for 1 or 2 hours or something. We could have a proper night's sleep because we're on the phone during the night. But the phone's away. The experts say 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes between putting your phone away and then your brain will cop on. It's time to wind down and fall asleep. You might need that time to do that kind of thing. If you're a really good sleeper, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a sleep problem at all, a lot of people seem to have these days, they say 40% of people has a sleep problem at any one time, have difficulty trying to sleep at some point. So having that and being able to combat that and deal with that, important skill to have in your bag of tricks again to cope with things. So sleep, very important. I'll do more in depth with sleep in another thing I'm going to do, but again, sleep is one of those 4 pillars, so getting that together. Back to relaxing again. Important during the day to relax, I mentioned before, because we need to recharge during the day. We need to keep ourselves on top of things during the day. And whatever you do, that needs to help you to get charged up during the day. And those little things we do, like the breathing thing we do, that staying in the moment type stuff, I'll do more of that later on, that kind of stuff, that helps you greatly to get your day in order. Because a day can be all these things coming at you, and there are no breaks in that day at all, really. So you had a big page of text to read, and there were no commas, and no full stops, and no paragraph things. You get totally lost trying to read it. So these things of having your breathing, calming things down, taking that breath, doing the 5-finger thing, having that time just to relax, that acts like a little tiny full stop every so often in that big page stuff coming at you. So you can take a breath, and then on to the next thing you're going to do. And so one of the most important things relaxing during the day is to have that special time just for you. Some me time during the day. Really key, important skill to have. And the one rule about it is you're not allowed to feel guilty about this. Now this can be, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour if you're lucky. And people say to me, well, I can't do that. I'm trying to rear 4 children. I'm trying to work and do all these things. Oh, I don't have a minute to myself. I say to them sometimes, well, you have to sometimes during the day go to the bathroom from time to time, don't you? If you didn't, you'd be in a right state, So I tell them that, and they say, yeah, that time can be your time. Your 3, 4, 5 minutes just to wind things down for you. So you go back out then again and face the next thing coming at you. But you must have that me time, that small little time for yourself during the day. You take that time then just to have a cup of coffee, say. So you really taste that coffee. So you just take that moment just for yourself and really do a mindful thing and taste the coffee. We do so much stuff on autopilot during the day. So just thing, and not think, okay, that's that finished, where's the next thing? There's no space between these things very often. So put spaces in there for yourself is a great de-stressor to do. It calms things down greatly for you. You can handle much more stuff coming at you by doing these simple, tiny little things. And every day do them. So build in that me time and get selfish about it, and it's your time. And it could be just time to go off and just do nothing for 5 minutes, say. But it's your time just to go, right, it's me time, this is my time just to kind of recharge myself. Like say your phone sometimes, battery can run down, you get a red battery symbol. Like heaven forbid the phone would run down, that's not allowed to happen. But you're much more important than the phone. You can't run down either, so you got to recharge yourself over the course of a day. However you do that is very important. Well, you must do it and keep doing it every single day to keep yourself on top of things and dealing with stuff. Now, second other big important thing to do is fencing off that time, as I said before, being selfish about it. So you have to be selfish and do not be anyway guilty about that, because people are often there, same might be happening in your life, you're there to help other people, you're there for other people, you're doing things for people all day. And sometimes you have to turn that doing things for people onto yourself and do things for you to build yourself up. If you don't do that, you become no good to these people here who need you. So you've got to change that around sometimes, even for the 5 minutes or 10 minutes, to recharge yourself and get back out there again to answer more of those demands that happen when these things are demanded of you. Although you won't be able to handle those things at all. So the sleep thing, again, important. And again, they all link up. I'm not going to order through these because they all link up these things again. Sleep, really important. One thing to do to keep sleep intact is to regularize your sleeping pattern. Now again, difficult to do sometimes, but if you can, as often as you can, get to bed at the same time each night and up at the same time each morning. And keep that going through even the weekends. Again, it won't happen all the time for you because of children and demands and work and so on, but possibly as often as you can, get to bed at the same time and up at the same time each morning and keep that going. And that then tells your brain, say it could be 10 o'clock is your time for bed or whatever time, 9:30, whatever. That your brain then learns and realises, right now it's wind down time now. I start to wind down, I start to get ready for bed, go to sleep and so on. And you feel tired, right now it's time now to go to bed. And you feel that, and it's that same time each night. If you do the opposite, say you're 10 o'clock some nights, it could be 12:30 the next night, then 11 o'clock, then maybe 1 o'clock, then 10 o'clock, and this time keeps changing when you go to bed all the time. That confuses your brain and your body completely. There's no idea, is it wake up time, is it sleep time, is it relax time, what's happening now? There's no idea. And so when that happens, that confuses things terribly, and it's very hard to get to sleep sometimes. Your brain doesn't know it's wind down time, it's sleep time now. That's where regularizing that pattern, keep it as regular as you possibly can, is a great thing to do to get sleep enhanced, and you'll guarantee a good night's sleep from doing that. You'll be away sometimes on courses or something, or an event or a wedding or something, and you won't be in your own bed, a different routine and so on. That's fine. Once you get back to your old routine again, then fall back into place again, same time to bed and same time getting up. Experts on sleep also talk about the room you're in, apart from the clutter, how bright it is, how dark it is. Some people need to have a dark room, and the experts would say the darker the room, the better for enhancing sleep. So the brighter it is with lights and things, that's not good. So the darker the room, the better. Also, they say the cooler the room, the better. Once you're warm in the bed, your duvet and so on, the cooler room around you also enhances sleep. That's another thing to watch out. Those little things can help sleep. And also watch things like eating food too late at night. Like have food time that might stop, say, at 7 or 8 in the evening, but nothing after that. Say your bedtime, say, at 10. Nothing after, say, 8 in the evening. And like there's a space for your body to calm down, get ready for sleep. If you eat too late, that puts too much tax on your body. You need to have more time to digest that, and that ends up a whole other things happening there. That means you won't sleep properly when that happens to you. So eating it too late at night. And also coffee and tea, because that can linger a long time in your system. I do the more in-depth sleep thing. I'll do some more details on that for you. That can also affect how well you sleep. Even the coffee that you had in the morning is still there in your system that night, believe it or not. That does hang a long time in your system. That caffeine is still there doing its stuff. If you have multiples during the day, you have more and more there at night when you try and go to sleep. So all these things do help as well. One great thing as well to have mental health is to confront your difficulties. We have, I said, demands coming at us all the time. And some people deal with those the best way they can. We have one now happening to us. We have this corona thing happening to us. If you told us, say, a year ago this would happen to us, we have to wear masks and we have to be taking all the precautions and not touching our friends and not being in groups. We just thought, that's never going to happen. That won't happen. I'd never cope if it did anyway. Sure, how would I handle that? Kind of carry on, But it did happen, and it's happening to us now, and we've coped. We've got there. We've handled it. We've dealt with it. Somehow we've surprised ourselves, and we often do surprise ourselves. You've had things in the past happen to you, and you might think, "Just me a year before, I would have to handle that. I wouldn't know I could." But you handled it very, very well. You got through it. And you look back now and just think, how did I ever get through that? I never thought I would, but I did. So you have resources in there you mightn't even know you have. And we need these things now to get through this upcoming corona thing. It's going to be there for quite a while to come. So facing difficulties and dealing with things as they happen, very important thing to do. People who have, or have been researched at the very top of these companies, who should be out of their bins with stress, but aren't, are quite calm, relaxed, doing all sorts of stuff. And they were asked, well, why are you like that? Why are you not sort of in hospital or something? And they would say, well, these demands coming at me, I regard them as like a challenge. I don't regard them as an attack on me physically. They're not going to wipe me out, but they're a challenge for my skills. What more could I learn now to handle that better and do something different there? And that's how they regard that, and they have that way of thinking all the time, which means they're already wiped out by these things, but it will tax them and it will drain them in some sort of ways, but they will learn something from that, and then move on then from that with those new skills to face the next thing coming in. And that's how they operate, that's how they think. So don't come down under all these stresses. It's a different way of thinking about things. See if you can have that way of thinking about things. These things are there to test us in all sorts of ways, and I can find the resources somewhere inside here to handle these things coming in. Avoiding pile-ups as well is important as well. With these demands coming in, some people ignore the demands or try and ignore them, and things begin to pile up around them. Things they haven't done and haven't finished, haven't written that thing they had to write, or haven't finished that paper they had to do, or read something, or do something for college, or whatever it is. They haven't done those kind of things. They've piled up and piled up and piled up. Those things don't kind of go away. They're still there, getting bigger and bigger, and you're thinking, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, or and all this stuff. But it just piles up and you still don't do it. A thing called procrastination hits some people, putting stuff off like that. Of course, nobody here today listening to this would like that, but just in case you are, or you know someone like that, there's a very nice trick you can do with your brain to stop yourself from doing that kind of thing. And say I have something to do. Say if mine could be my end of year accounts. I do every year, and I think, I'll do it next week. Not very exciting doing accounts, So I just think, but I do this little trick. I get it finished very, very quickly using this trick in my brain. It's a small little trick called the 15-minute trick. Set your timer on your phone or kitchen timer for 15 minutes, and start into this thing you have to do, writing something or doing something, or accounts in my case, and just get into it and keep doing it. When the timer goes off in 15 minutes, then ask yourself, right, how do I feel now? Am I happy I've done this much? Do I want to finish it? Or do I still hate it? Or whatever? And you'll find that 90% of the time, you'll think, look, it's mostly nearly all done. I can finish it now. I'll just do it and finish it. So you can trick yourself into finishing these things. If you still hate it, you say, well, I still hate it, but at least I have that much of it done that I wouldn't have done otherwise. So you have some of it done. Do 15 minutes more of it tomorrow and do it that way if you want to. But you can fool yourself to finish off that stuff in that kind of way and avoid those pile-ups, because the pile-ups add to your stress. And it's also the unfinished things, those unfinished little things you haven't done, or you haven't finished off something, you haven't sent that letter or paid that bill or done something. Those unfinished things, they will take up space inside in your mind. And once you've done those things, they leave your mind completely. There's a thing in psychology called the Zeigarnik effect. It's a kind of a small example of that. If say you get an earworm inside in your head, that bit of tune, song, bit of stuff going through your head, and it will not leave your head. It's there all day, bumbling around inside your head. You leave me, but it won't leave your head. It's in there. The one way, this guy Zygarnik says, get rid of this effect is to find the tune, the whole tune, and play it from start to finish, which you can on iTunes very easily find these things. Play it from start to finish, and play the whole 3 minutes of it through, and when you've done that, the tune will leave your head completely. It'll totally be gone from your head. That's kind of a funny way about it, but you can do that if something does get inside your head, can't get rid of it. And it's those unfinished things inside your mind that really block your brain from doing the next thing coming up and take up space inside your mind. So finish things off and they will be gone. You were involved in all sorts of things, projects you worked on, things you were doing, and they took up all of your head space. You've forgotten all about them totally now. You can't even remember them sometimes because they're done, finished off, gone, got rid of, filed away. And so because of that, they're gone from your head straight away. So you can learn from that, and letting things pile up, not helpful. Deal with those things in small little bits some ways sometimes, but get rid of them, get through them, and you will get through them, and they will test you and make you stronger. Nietzsche, philosopher, said it very nice. He said, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And that's as true nowadays as it was back when he said it. So all these things are there to give you more skills in your resilience bag of tricks to handle these things coming in. Very important little quote. So it's unfinished things, and don't let them pile up all around you. One key thing again to have as well in your life, again for good mental health, part of the 4 things I mentioned before, again the diet and in the activity and so on, is to have balance in your life. Balance is so important. Think of, say, Chinese medicine and Indian medicine, the Ayurvedic medicine, all about balance. The yin and the yang in Chinese medicine, in Indian medicine, all about balancing the wet and the dry and the hot and the cold and sort of thing, in the food you eat and so on. And to seek for balance in all that. When somebody comes for help to me, as they frequently do, some part of their life is totally out of kilter. Either they're working far too much and not sleeping enough, or they're sleeping too much and they're playing too much and not working enough. That can be stressful as well. So getting a balance on these things is really important. So a balance with time, say time doing your work, and then time just playing. Time doing head things, cerebral, head, mental things, and then times doing physical things. Then times doing very active things, and then times doing nothing. So you have good balance and all that stuff. When that's out of kilter, that's not good. So building balance in is very, very important. So you have work time, you also have play time, and they're really, really important. That's where hobbies come in. Key mental health skill is a hobby, something you really enjoy doing. And you know it's good, you know it's your special hobby. When doing it, the time just flies and the hours just go. You're stuck in this thing doing it. You're really enjoying it. It could be a social hobby or a solitary hobby, it doesn't really matter, whatever it is, the time just flies when you're doing this thing. That's how you'll know what it is. Say you meet a friend for a chat even. You're in there having the chat with a friend and you wonder, God, at the time, where did all the time go kind of thing? The time just flies when you're having that good time there with somebody. Time just disappears completely. And the same with the hobby, having good time with somebody as well. Good time with your friends or good time doing your hobby, the time will just totally fly. And that's a really good thing to have. And the more of those things you have in your life, and the more often you have those things, the less stressed you're going to be. Back to the mind again. Mind's very important. Having a flexible, open mind is really good. That's why libraries are so important. And people frequenting libraries, great important thing to see, because people doing that are curious, they want to learn things. One of the big things that keeps me going is my curiosity. I'm not about like what you have for your breakfast kind of curiosity, but I'm always learning things and reading stuff and discovering new things and new words and all that. And I have a mind that's open, that kind of thing. And people with a mind like that don't tend to get as stressed as people's minds are closed, because some people have a closed mind. It's closed, slammed shut years ago, like a big door slammed, and nothing else gets in. And you know they're like that because they're the kind of people you can't surprise. You tell them something, and you know they don't know it, but they say to you, yeah, I know. But you know they don't know it, but they can't take it anymore because the mind has been closed years ago. That kind of person gets that bit more stressed than somebody who has a much more open mind. Open-minded person will talk to you, they'll debate with you, they'll argue with you, you'll have, I don't mean negatively, but they'll argue points with you. They'll be open to your points, take on your viewpoint, and go back to something else. Because the mind's open, and they'll learn from that and hear things. And we learn something new every single day, as people say. So today, what new thing did you learn today? Any new thing you didn't know yesterday, or 8 o'clock this morning that you know now? That's important, keep that going. That's a really good mental health skill there. That's where your hobby comes in as well. With hobbies, you learn new things all the time. So that's all links up with that as well, also. So having time alone, on your own, having times with people. That's balance as well. So you have time, good time to do things on your own and get your own house in order, so to speak, and then go off and talk to your friends and deal with them, help them, and so on. Also, key important skill as well inside there for good mental health. And part of those 4 pillars. One really fundamental thing in that whole thing of balance is having friends and friendships. It's a key important one. So friendships, really important aspect of the whole mental health thing. It's very important to have friends, good friends, friends you can talk to. You might have, say, 3 or 4, or a huge big network, it doesn't matter. It could be family, friends, or it could be friends from work or from college or school, whatever. It doesn't matter again. Wherever you find them, doesn't matter. They're there for you and you're there for them. And you know when you talk to a friend, it's really lovely, you have something bothering you or something that happened during the day to you, and you tell the friend all about this, and they really, really hear you. You know that, when they actually hear what you're saying, and they can, yeah, right, okay, and this kind of thing, and they help you with that and so on. That's great to be heard by somebody, that really is. Your other friends, you're telling them things and their mind is off on something else, that's not even hearing you at all. They're not as nice to talk to. So friends that you say things to, that really say to you, well, have you thought of it like this way, or have you thought of it like that, or something. And for a long time, people can hold things inside and tell nobody about these things. And then they say it to a friend, and the friend says, okay, right, well, have you seen it this way, or have you asked for help with that? And you're actually going, no, I haven't thought, no, that's yeah, I can do that, I can change that, I can do something. So your sense of strength compared to this problem you had starts to grow because you had your mind opened about it in some kind of way. You've said it to a friend. And so the value of friendship's really important. And they might say things to you then. They'll talk to you as well and tell you things. And it's important to be there for them also. So having those friendships, really important thing to have, really good thing to have. We know from research on that people say who've moved to a different country, different city, different town, don't have the friends in the place. They're going to work somewhere, going to college, don't have the friends. They can become more stressed because back home in the evening there's nobody to talk to very often. There's nobody that they know to really talk to. When they build their network, it's different, but they can become quite lonely. So a time like this, we're warned, again during the whole COVID thing, we're warned, watch out for loneliness and lonely neighbours and so on. So keep an eye on the neighbours, and not this sort of kind of watching them all the time, but just keep an eye on the neighbours, make sure they're not being totally excluded from things, have their number, give them a buzz or something, or wave going past so they see you and so on. So that's that kind of link, that kind of contact with people. Because again, there's loneliness out there. People are lonely and don't know what to do with that kind of thing. So friendships, really important. And you heard the old saying years ago, a problem shared is a problem halved. And that's very, very true. So just saying things to somebody can change that thing straight away. But how often it could be inside in your head for a long, long time, what you say it to somebody, really key, good mental health skill to have. And again, saying things is so important because the opposite of that is holding things in and bottling things up. And some people do that. They don't express themselves, don't say things out at all. And something happens and you want to kind of go and say something you don't, you hold back and hold it in somewhere. Then something else happens and you want to kind of say something but you hold it in again and don't say a thing. Those things you might forget about them, but they don't go away. They're inside in your body there and they're building up and building up and building up. And then someday something simple, something small happens or is said to you and you just totally lose the head. A big volcanic explosion happens for something very, very small that happened. But it wasn't that thing that caused that reaction. It was all the previous little things that were added up inside there and never mentioned, never talked about, never dealt with, never exchanged or had any talk about them at all. And because of that, they're still inside there building up and building up to kind of a pressure cooker effect that blows its top sometimes, and that happens. You see it in road rage, this road rage thing. People, something simple happens, somebody gets out in front of you in the queue or someone takes that parking space you're going for and you see this massive big reaction with fingers and fists and all this pointing and shouting and horns beeping and language and so on, and that can go on there. Those people are not angry at that incident, they're angry already at previous things that have built up inside there, and that is the reason then to let out all this stuff on top of somebody who's done something relatively simple in front of them there. And they can't handle that. So holding all these things in is not a good idea. It affects you in all sorts of ways. Blood pressure, for one, it builds up blood pressure inside people straight away because there's pressure building up inside there. It has to go somewhere. It'll affect your appetite, back to food again. It'll affect your sleep as well, back to sleep again. All these things are connected and linked up in all sorts of strange kind of ways. So this one thing is not just on its own, it's all linked up in all sorts of things. Saying things. So friendship again, really important. Have those friends, cultivate those friends, very, very, very important. And it's relaxing at the very beginning. And just to finish off, I'm going to relax you very nicely. If you follow along with this now, you relax like we did the 5 finger at the very beginning. You relax and calm down completely doing this. So I've done it before here in the library. If you've attended before, things I've done, you're familiar with this. If you're not, you'll find it's a very nice relaxing thing. And as a way to get to sleep or to calm down and do things, it's really, really, really important thing to do and really helpful, really, really good. So start by taking a nice breath inwards. Hold for a second and then just breathe out very, very gently. And often finishing a stressful thing, we naturally kind of go, glad that's over. It's a natural thing just to calm things down completely for us. So again, just breathe in, hold for a second. On the out breath, let your eyes just gently close down. So close your eyes down. And keep the eyes closed for the next few minutes. And start by focusing first of all on those tiny muscles around your eyes and your eyelids. Because they do the most amazing work during the day. They're always on duty, always on guard, to help your eyes and keep the eyes healthy in case a bit of dust or bug gets close to your eyes. They'll snap shut straight away to keep the eyes watered and shiny and healthy and safe, and that's their job. Even in your sleep, when you're asleep, they're still helping you by closing. So keep them closed and make those eyelids so relaxed that they got so heavy you could not even open them. I know of course you can, but imagine that they were so relaxed you couldn't even open them. And then into your forehead there, and just iron that forehead out completely. Let it all just flop away there. And then down to your cheeks, your jaw muscles around your mouth, relaxing your entire face. And then into the top of your head, around the back of your head, down to your neck, to your shoulders. Get right in there, those shoulders completely flop. Because over a day, we can carry some old stuff on those shoulders. So again, letting them relax is really important. Flop them there at the back of your chair, support those muscles. And then go from your shoulders down to your elbows, relaxing as you go all the way down. Your elbows and your forearms, down to your wrists, your hands, your fingers, and the very tips of those fingers. Relaxing all the muscles as you go. And back up to your shoulders again. And this time down to your back muscles, over and back, over all those amazing amount of muscles you have in your back. They help you to reach up for things and sit down and stand up and lean forward and lean back and do all sorts of stuff. They're always there at your beck and call every single day. It's their time now to completely and utterly relax. So relax all those muscles. At the back of your chair, support those muscles. That's its job. Then back up against your shoulders, and this time down over muscle around your ribs and into your stomach. So you can breathe now gently, easily and deeply with no effort whatsoever. Each breath in now relaxing you, and each breath out relaxing you that bit deeper and deeper, down. Then go from your hips down to your knees, some of your strongest muscles there, that help you to walk, to run, walk upstairs and downstairs and drive, do all sorts of stuff. And again, always on duty, always there to help you. This is their time just to relax, to calm right down. So relax those muscles. And your knees, relax your knees. Then down your calf muscles, all the way down to your ankles, to your heels, soles of your feet, and out to your toes. Relaxing all of your body. And just gently scan your body from the top of your head now, all the way down to your toes. And notice how calm it is, how relaxed it is. And just see how aware you are of it in a way you mightn't have been, say, 3 or 4 minutes ago. That's being mindful. And to calm your mind down, like you've calmed your body down, you can do a very, very simple thing, which is great for getting to sleep and relaxing that mind down completely. In front of you, imagine you see a ruler, a big ruler in front of you. It's about 1 metre high, and it's sticking straight out of the floor in front of you. Now it can be a plastic ruler or a wooden ruler, a perspex, whatever you see is perfect for you, it doesn't matter. But this ruler measures how calm and how relaxed your mind is, because the calmer your mind is, the lower the number is on the ruler. And the lower the number gets, the calmer your mind becomes. And numbers go from 100 all the way down to 0. So see where you are now on that ruler. Maybe you're 70 or 40 or further down. You breathe in and breathe out now. Just gently slide down that ruler, down. So you almost halve the number each time and double that sense of relaxation and drift down and down and down towards zero. And by doing that, you let great things happen in the background, because now all sorts of rebuilding, repairing, replacing, re-energizing and healing can happen in the background because you've relaxed at the surface. And like your breathing has slowed down, your heartbeat has slowed down, digestion has calmed down a bit, all those big systems slowing down slightly, allowing great work to happen in the background. And you'll find that tonight, when your head hits the pillow, get your muscles together, get your breathing, get the ruler, slide down that ruler and drift into a very, very good sleep. If you wake at some strange time tomorrow morning, then again, you should not get enough time, it'll be 2:30 in the morning. Again, get your muscles together, calm the muscles, get your ruler, slide down that ruler and drift back into a very, very good sleep. I'm going to count from 1 up to 5, just to reorient you back into the here and now. When you hear 5, get nicely relaxed, alert, refreshed. So 1, slowly, calmly, gently, back to the here and now. 2, all your muscles and fibres, nicely relaxed, alert, refreshed. 3, feeling very good now from head to toe. And 4, it's like your eyes, be it in spring water or sparkling. And on 5, they can open. So 5, fully back, fully aware, fully back. Good. Welcome back. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. I have some more stuff I'm going to do on sleep at some point later on. But be going on with that and take those tips and start to use them every single day as a way of getting yourself able to cope and handle with stress and demands. Thank you. I'll talk to you again.